What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. We are sitting at about $435 right now, my friends. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. But before we do, there's something that I want to ask you guys, right? Being that, you know, the Bitcoin Cash community, I love the Bitcoin Cash community. I feel like that's like home for me, right? There's a lot of crypto communities that I feel like I associate with, but I definitely have a warm place in my heart for the BCH crew. I want to know, do you guys want me to make a playlist? The Stellar Lumens people asked for it. The MicroStrategy people asked for it. Would it make sense, you know, that this is, being that it's one of my biggest bags, should I make a playlist for this as well? Would it be easier for you guys? Are you fine with the format how it is now? Let me know in the comments, because I'm more than happy to make a playlist for it. You know, just if you guys find it useful. If not, if the content's easy enough to find, which I think it's easy enough to find anyways. But what if you want me to make a playlist, whatever, I'll make a playlist. But enough of me, enough about me, enough about me, enough about you, enough about us, my friends. Let's talk about the price and get into the stuff that we're all here for. So looking at Bitcoin Cash here at 434, and just being real with ourselves, looking at the daily RSI, it does appear as though we're going to move lower, right? We didn't get that move above the 40. We didn't get above the 40, guys, and it looks, we're just getting these lower highs here. It looks like we're nice and weak, and we're ready to go down on the 4-hour time frame here. We've gotten lower highs, kind of being held down by this area, living below the 50. We're finding support on the 40, but we're not even getting up to the 60. It does look a little bit weak. Come on now, hold on. And then, yeah, just every opportunity that we have to move up, it does appear as of recently, we actually have more interest in volume to the downside than we do to the upside. And we're at a point where I would expect that we break out of this overall zone. So if we break it, we might go down. I am expecting a drop across the markets right now of about 20%. Somebody in the comments, I forget who, if their name starts with an F, I would give you a shout out right now. You make some rather, let's say rather crude comments, but I appreciate your content. You know, in your comments, it's like you're talking smack, but you're also providing good information, right? You're not just like providing nonsense. I would give you a shout out if I had your name. But this guy, whoever it was, he's been calling for 20% drops for the past few days, and I see it, man. I definitely see it. I think across the boards we will see a 20% drop. Bitcoin Cash to its relative low, that's a 10% drop. I think Bitcoin Cash is capable of seeing a lesser drop than the rest of the markets, but a 20% to 25% drop is kind of what I foresee happening from the relative prices, right? And I mean, 345 would be 20%, 25% would be 325. So yeah, something like that, 325 to 345. Let's see if we can make sense out of that area. 325 to 345. Hold on. Come on, buddy. There we go. 325, 345. Let's see if we can make sense out of that area. So first and foremost, high or low overall. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Low to high here, going all the way down to your golden ratio, 6-9 area. That would actually put you a little bit below, wouldn't it? All the way down to the 786. And that's possible, but that just seems a bit extreme to go all the way down to the 786. To see this kind of a move and go all the way back, I mean, what you would be doing from a high to a low here for Bitcoin Cash, man, people are going to think that I'm playing favorites with what I'm about to say, because I'm about to say that I don't think Bitcoin Cash sees a 20% drop, because that just doesn't make sense to me. Going all the way from your 886 to the 382 is extreme enough. I mean, perhaps you could go to your 236. I mean, sometimes that happens, but that's more often off of a 786 rejection, not an 886. This is already pretty extreme. So if you were to go to the 236, I mean, that would be 245. I suppose I could see that. That would be the most that I could see. That would be 245. 225 would be a potential maximum across the board as far as what the average would be. But I don't know, man. If there was a coin or a handful of coins that doesn't quite drop 20%, potentially even finds a higher low or a double bottom look to this relative low here. Maybe it finds a slightly higher low. Maybe it finds a perfect double bottom. Maybe it finds a slightly lower low, something like that. I think Bitcoin Cash could be one of the handful of coins that doesn't drop 20% or more. And again, I can assume that people would think I'm playing favorites, but Bitcoin Cash, it is one of the top coins. It is one of the top cryptos. It does track Bitcoin pretty well at times. If Bitcoin drops, you know, I would assume Bitcoin, if we go here, actually, BTC USD, if Bitcoin were to drop, I would assume that it probably drops down. I mean, you're at 92K now. Maybe you hold support at 90K itself. Like maybe you only drop 2%. I can't see Bitcoin Cash dropping 20% on a 2% BTC drop. Maybe it drops all the way down here to 85.5K at the very low over here, right? And that's 7.8%. I still can't. I couldn't see Bitcoin Cash dropping 20% on a drop like that. So, again, at the risk of sounding biased and putting my favoritist opinions into Bitcoin Cash, especially with that intro that I gave, right? Shout out to the Dragon Riders on that note. I actually don't think that initial prediction, those prices were based off what I'm expecting for the average of the markets. But looking at Bitcoin Cash's charts, I'm really having a hard time seeing you go too much below this. If you do, I'm not worried about it, right? The rest of the market's going to make that drop. Likely, if you go down with the rest of the market, you're going to come up with the rest of the market too, okay? So Bitcoin Cash is going to be fine one way or another. It'll still put in a higher low, hopefully, one way or another. But I think this would actually be a testament of strength if Bitcoin Cash could do what I'm calling for it to do essentially in this video, which is find support at this area of resistance here. Find support instead of like 345, maybe at 370, maybe at 387, maybe find a higher low. Or maybe Bitcoin Cash is telling the truth here and the other charts are telling me a lie, and maybe the rest of the market does find higher lows and we don't see lower lows. Maybe I'm wrong on the last like 2 or 3 videos that I've made for other cryptos tonight, not over the days, but just tonight specifically. But because tonight I have taken a turn, I have started to think that we go lower than the relative lows, but I'm having a hard time seeing that with Bitcoin Cash. I don't think I have anything else I want to say, my friends. I think I've said it all. Here's one thing that I can say. Let's revel in some disappointment here. Are you ready? BCH USD. Coinbase. Monthly time frame. It hurts, man. It hurts because now we got to wait a whole nother month before we get this confirmation of a bullish cross. It's a tease. It's a disappointment, but 19 hours left, $433 now. We would need, it wouldn't necessarily be a miracle, but it would have to be something outside of my expectations. I don't expect that we'll move too much below this low, but I definitely don't expect that we're going to move up high enough to get this to cross bullishly by the end of the month close. So unfortunately, womp womp, we're going to have to wait until the end of January potentially for that bullish cross, but it's coming. It is coming. I don't suspect that Bitcoin Cash is going to go back below this ribbon. So other than that, definitely exciting on the monthly time frame. It's just December wasn't the month we were looking for. It's going to push things back a little bit, but things are still happening. We're definitely going to see some high prices, I think, by the end of January. I'm still expecting targets that are above $1,000 by the end of January, and I very strongly believe that those will come into fruition. I think the end of this move, though, where I was expecting before December started, I was expecting that this move here wasn't over here. I thought that we would take like a little 1 or 2 week break, a kind of high and tight consolidation, and then continue. It would have made sense for this move to end in January, but maybe it's possible, guys, that if we've consolidated this long, and this move didn't really even get started with this kind of maneuver here, it might be possible that this move as a whole could end maybe in the beginning of February or sometime in February instead of the end of January. But nevertheless, I still expect probably the second week of January for things to start moving up, the end of January to be very bullish, and I do suspect that January and February will both be green months. How green, I don't know, but I do suspect that we have some growth ahead of us. Just first, a little bit of downside. And if we look, I mean, it's pretty common to go down to where crosses happen to whenever you get across to pull back and bounce. We kind of did that already, but maybe that's what we'll do again next month. We'll come back and touch the yellow line at like 365 and then bounce from there. I don't know. Anyways, guys, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I could be wrong, but if I was wrong on my assumptions that Bitcoin Cash and probably the rest of crypto goes down from here, we would need to see an immediate turnaround. Like by the time I wake up tomorrow, by the time this day is about halfway through, we would need to see prices above 460. If we're there, if we're above 460 by the end of today, then likely we will not see prices below $400. But if we don't, I would suspect we do. We not only go back to this green line, but probably a little bit below it. The green line, man, could provide support. Bitcoin Cash, again, I'm going to say it one more time, man, but this might be one of those moments where it shows strength even in its downside move, because I suspect you could find a higher low. And if not a higher low, maybe a true double bottom. If not that, maybe a slightly lower low. But I don't think it's going to drop 20% like I suspect the rest of the markets will do. We'll see. But, you know, we'll go from here. But time will tell. I'll see you guys on the next one. Hit the like button. Bye-bye.